Yo, yo, what's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back. Uh, Today we're working on my terminal emulator. His name is Termi, and we've been working on him for a couple weeks now, and we're kind of at the point where we have something that like kind of works. So just give me a sec. We can type like ls, we get stuff. We're in a bash shell. We can get log, and we see like, oops. There's a crash that I have to fix in there still, introduced a couple streams ago. But I thought I fixed it off stream, but I guess I forgot to commit it. But anyways, we've got like colors. We've got like this stuff is like bolded. There's yellow, red, whatever. Clear works, right? So we've got like some sort of thing working. And the way this all works is sorry, clearing my throat. Back in the day, there's like a terminal emulator, right? A physical guy with a keyboard and a screen, right? And he talks to your little computer over here. And this guy's running like bash. And bash has to say, okay, how do I communicate with this guy? Well, somebody presses a key on the keyboard and the letter A gets transmitted this way. And then bash goes like, okay, I want to show an A on the screen. And so he like pushes it this way and he says, hey, could you put an A on the screen terminal? Like, I just got an A and I've acknowledged that. Could you write that down? And so he puts like a little A over here and he moves the cursor over, right? Which works if you know exactly that, like, okay, say there was like no way to edit what you typed ever, right? Then this would work pretty well. But you have situations where like, okay, now I want to do something more complicated, like the program less, right? If I say like git log, I've got like some interactive application. It has like scrolling in here, right? It's like, well, how does that work? Well, the terminal emulator is actually saying like, hey, could you move the cursor to here and then like rewrite the whole screen with what I want you to show, essentially. And so there are like all these commands that have to be like processed by the terminal emulator. And so what will happen is the terminal emulator will like send like the letter J over here to say like go down, or maybe it'll send like the down arrow key. And bash will send to this back this like fucking like escape code, like a special sequence saying like, hey, please don't like do anything, or don't like interpret this as text. This is like an escape code. And then he'll like send some series of commands. It's like, hey, like, could you go to position 1-1? And like he'll like finish that off with like some ASCII code. It's like the work of us implementing this terminal emulator is essentially trying to parse out this type of stuff and make sure that we're like handling it correctly. There's also some stuff like making sure that like our width is matching and stuff, but whatever. And so yeah, like this is like back in the day. So this like goes into like a TTY driver in the kernel, and he does like a bunch of stuff, and he talks to like a UART or like a serial line to talk to this guy. And basically in our case, since we're like a terminal emulator, we have like a pair of file descriptors here instead of this like serial line. That's what we're at. And so like all we're really implementing on our side is this little program that's like basically a parser for these guys, for these like commands. So he says like move your cursor, I move the cursor. He says enter some text, I enter some text. That's like basically all we've done so far. And today's topic is can we get Les to shut the fuck up? Right? So when I go in here and I type git log, the first thing that happens, he says, warning, terminal is not fully functional. And it's like, well, okay, so let's make it fully functional. And also, what the fuck are you talking about? So the way this stuff works is there's this command info comp, and he basically says like, hey, here is the name of my terminal. And so like you can see here, he's saying like reconstructed via info comp from some file. So every terminal emulator like installed in your system, he's going to basically have like a database of like this bullshit, right? And you're like, well, what the fuck is this, right? And so we can pick one that we've like implemented. We can say, okay, this one is the cursor forward command, and it's an escape code, open brace, some parameter, and then a C, right? So that's kind of what we're talking about. There's just like these like special sequences that say, here is like an action that I want you to perform. And what this terminal database is saying is, hey, here are these are like the concepts I support. Because like back in the day, there was like a terminal emulator, and like they just said in their data sheet like, hey, I'm gonna do in their data sheet, they're just like, I'm gonna do this thing. But then like other terminals came along, and like they might have like different sequences, and different terminal emulators came along, and they might have different sequences, and they might support like different kinds of movements and stuff. So this database basically says like, hey, I am the terminal 256 color, please look up, instead of like executing this like escape sequence manually, could you please ask me what I want you to say when you want to move forward, and do that. And so less, when it runs, is doing that, and it's finding like, oh fuck, like I don't have the commands I need. I need to do these actions, and I can't. So that's where we're at. I cloned the less source code on my other account and started looking through which ones it needs, but I think I should do that again. And let me just pull that. I think I was like a less source GitHub mirror. Sorry, I've been ignoring some comments in chat just so I could get through to the intro. But basically, what is it written in? This is like Rust, and the terminator is in Rust. He's using eGUI for the GUI framework. We'll get into it in a little bit. Where did I find this? GNU less GitHub. I swear there was like a mirror for it. Does this look like it? Less version. This is distribution view. Yeah, I think this is probably what I cloned. And I could just clone the actual source code. Maybe I should do that. Less source code. Like, surely it's on the internet somewhere. GNU less. Here we go. And let's pull what looks like the latest and greatest. And maybe go over here and open it. So downloads less. Here we go. And so in here, we should be able to find warning. What does it say? Warning. Terminal is not fully functional. Here we go. Okay. So we can go into this source code for less, and we can say, okay, so we know that we have this log coming out. What the fuck does it come from? It's like, oh, okay, so missing cap. Great. Which turns out is just like some global variable in the project. And we can just look for usages in it, and we can see that there's like spots where he's basically saying like, hey, I'm going to set this to 1 in some cases. And you can just look through here, and there's like this like, some of them are a little more obvious, right? So they say like, hey, terminal database, could I look for the CE feature, and if I don't get it back, we're missing capabilities. But since this is a global variable, there's also parts, they have this like cheaper function where they call this occasionally when they're looking at 2 options. So they say like, hey, I'm looking for this ho command, but if you don't have, if maybe there's like a move command as well, and like maybe pick between ho and move in some way. So basically I just like went through all these uses of cheaper and wrote them down. So we have them here. And I think, what we're going to do is we're going to have to go and look at implementing each of these guys and like figuring out what they are. I haven't really like looked into what each of these things do yet. I'm just hoping that it will be kind of obvious. So I think we just kind of get moving and grooving. So let's see. What is the first thing we're doing? Let's just start with CE command, which we don't know what it is yet, but we'll figure it out. So I think we can go in here. We can say man term info, and he's going to have like a list of all of the different commands that we can see, and we can look for white space, CE, white space. And this is clear to the end of line. So we must have that one already. I'm pretty sure we did. This is EL. Oh, maybe not. What would be nice is if we could like log which thing we don't support. But you know, we've been in this world already a little bit for like the read line stuff we were doing the other day. So we can just look at, we have like a little test function that lets us basically like, we basically call the like terminal get command, tgetstr, to say like, hey, can you please tell me what this thing is supporting? We just call it for all these things. So I can just say like, CE is the one that we're looking at. And we can just look at cargo run, and we can run the test. So it's gcc-o test like this, and then we, we need curses. I thought that we added this to the shell definition, but maybe not. So hold on, just let me download curses real quick. I thought this was supposed to be n curses in here, but you know, sometimes you forget stuff. I'm sure I just lost it somewhere in like some cleanup. I was like, I added it and then I deleted it because I was like, I don't actually need this, but okay. GCC. So when I run this test now, we can see that this CE gives us escape open brace K is like the command that Tmux is looking for. And we can just see, do we have that command? If I run test here, that's implemented. So in our terminal, we are in fact saying this. And we can even check if this works, right? We can say echo test, and we can say, hey, could you go back by 2 characters? Thank God, by the way, we've just implemented this like relative movement thing last stream, and this is going to be a godsend. So right now, if I say go backwards and type ASDF, we should get the first 2 letters of test and then ASDF on top. But I forgot to type -E in echo, so there we go. And now instead of typing ASDF, I'm going to say, hey, could you type instead? It's whatever they said for CE here. So clear to end of line to be open brace thing by K. And then we just delete everything to the end of the line. Perfect. So it looks like we don't have to worry about that. So maybe we'll say check CE command, easy. And that just took a couple minutes. Maybe we'll kind of bundle these together. So CD, let's see what that guy is. Maybe we just write them all down actually. That seems like a faster way to do this. So we'll look for CE, CD, CL, CM, HO, LL, and AL. And SR. I think those are all the ones that they're asking for. So first we can also check. So we can check that in Tmux. We see that lower left, LL, isn't implemented. We actually hit this one already last stream, and we're like, oh, let's just skip that one because it's not necessary. Because that was one of those ones where less is going to be like, I want this thing or that thing. But all of the other ones that we just punched in are implemented, so we might want to implement all of them. And now we can go into our terminal, and we can say which ones we're missing. And it's a lot of them, right? We can see we're missing basically everything. We've got CL, we have CE, but we don't have CD, CM, HO, LL, AR, AL, SR. So I think we'll just kind of do, here we'll say that at 8 minutes we were doing check which commands we already support. Okay, and now we can say that we are starting on CD, CD, CM, HO. We know we're going to skip low LL because Tmux doesn't have it, so we don't need it. But we will implement these guys. Okay. So I guess we just get moving. So CD, what the fuck is CD? So we can see what they do. This looks like some sort of clear command. It's unfortunate, but at this point I've actually kind of memorized a bunch of these ones that we've seen before. So here we can look at this sequence. We escape, open brace, open bracket, brace, bracket. I think the square ones are called brackets, the curly ones are braces, and the round ones are parentheses. Bracket, brace, parentheses. Using parentheses is the... Okay, I don't want this. Parentheses is the round ones. Brackets is the square ones. Braces, yeah. Braces the curly ones. So this is escape, open bracket, J. And we know that J from previous is erase and display, so it's clears parts of the screen with 0 parameter, meaning clear from cursor to end of the screen. So we know we support this, but we should also just double check that this is the same thing, and it is clear to end of screen. And so we can just add that to our definitions. That's easy. So this is the ed command. So there's 2 kind of like modes. I shouldn't say modes. There's like 2 databases that are like, one is like compatible with the other. So there's termcap, which is what Les is using. But termcap was like insufficient in some ways. So they added terminfo, which is like this name on the left. And terminfo like will have one-to-one mappings with the termcap stuff, but like also has some extra shit. So we just need to look at this like ED thing to implement clear to end of screen. And I think that should be pretty easy. I'm pretty sure all we have to do there, because we already support the clear to end of screen command, is we just go into our definition, and it was called ed, I think. And we just say this. Easy. Easy. And now we just cargo run again. We run test. And can I get bigger, please? Bigger fonts. Now that CD thing is filled in, and I'm pretty certain that we like support that already. Like there's nothing to worry about there in terms of like implementation. We can look at our parser, our ANSI parser. We can look for the parser state. He gets into this finished state, and we look for the letter J here. And we support clear forwards and clear all, but we don't support clearing backwards because we were too lazy to look at like what other terminal emulators do there. But we do support clearing forwards, and so I don't have to worry about that. Don't have to worry about that. Okay. So now we can look at CM. What the fuck is CM? Cursor address. Move to row 1, column 2. What a weird specific command to have. What a like very, very specific thing. Okay. So we can look at what does tmux do there? So this is CM. So he is saying escape. What the fuck is this syntax? So he says %i. I understand this like param2, this like percent %p1, %d. If I remember correctly, this like term info string is like a stack-based language almost. So you can do something like push param1, push param2, add, like doing something that will like add two numbers together. And so if you just want to print a number, they have to say like push param1 print. And so like %d is saying print as an integer, %p1 is saying push parameter 1 to the stack. I don't know what this %i is doing. This entire system should be rethought. Honestly, we've come a long way since this was invented. Dude, that's how I feel implementing all this. This whole thing feels like broken, right? It seems like the shell, basically whoever's printing to the screen, if they want like an interactive thing, they should just have a buffer that they can write to, right? I don't really get why that's not the case. But I kind of feel like in order to like get to the point where I can say that, I have to understand like the current situation, right? So that's kind of like, that's really the reason why I'm implementing this stuff at all, is because I wanted to like understand what the fuck is a terminal emulator doing? What the fuck is a shell doing? What the fuck is a TTY? And I still don't really have like a perfect handle on that. So I just kind of want to get to the point where I can like start using it. Also, it's kind of fun to own your own shit. So I agree though. I agree. This whole thing seems broken. The whole concept seems broken. Okay, I don't know what this %i is, so I think we can look up man infocomp, and we can look for %i. Okay. So here he says, he doesn't really say anything interesting here. Parameters, stack, parameters, parameter. I swear I've seen somewhere documentation of whether maybe it was man term info is where it was. I'm just gonna quickly scroll because I know it's in here somewhere. Well, not in here. I know it exists somewhere. Here we go. Parameter strings. Here we go. So %i. Add 1 to the first 2 parameters. What a weirdly specific thing. Okay, so add 1 to the first 2 parameters. So they're saying add 1 to the first 2 parameters, then print the first parameter, then print the second parameter. And let's go back to this like CM command. Move to row number 1, columns number 2. Oh, maybe this doesn't mean move to row 1, column 2. This means move to row at parameter 1, column at parameter 2. And probably row 1 is 0 indexed and row like these are 0 indexed, but the terminal is expecting 1 indexed. So they're using the %i to say like, hey, add to both parameters. Then they're printing out those two things. And so I bet you could do this a different way. I'm pretty sure. I think. So they have. Sorry, let's test. I think that this sequence. You could also do it by doing like 2 individual adds to the parameters or something. Hold on. I'm curious now. I'm curious. I do feel like we need to understand this better than I do. So can we look for %i again? Add 1 to the first 2 parameters. But there must be a way to also like push something onto the stack. Push the ith parameter, but can I just push like a raw number? Get the static variable, push it, push arithmetic operation, logical operation, unary operation. Can I just like put a number myself? % question mark expression. This forms an if then else. No, I just want to like push, integer constant nn. Yeah. Okay, so I bet this %i is doing the same thing as if I did a manual add. Hold on. I think I wanna do an experiment here. So how do I like get the parameter string output here? Okay, in ncurses, there must be some way to like just execute these parameter strings. C also, infocomp tabs, curses, blah, 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 curse variables, term, printf, user caps. Man 5 term, what's that? Format of compiled term thing, I don't really care about that. What about man curses? So how do I actually like execute these things? T get sure curse term cap. Let's look at this. Okay. So we've been calling T get stir, and I think you execute it with T puts maybe. Yeah, that sounds right. So T get stir, let's look. The T get stir routine returns the string entry for ID, or 0 if it's not available. Use T puts to output the returned string. The area parameter is used as followed, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they're saying you use T puts. So does that mean that, is there a way for me to like, I want to like convert the string and then, yeah, okay, that'll work. Because then you pass in a function to print with. Okay, hold on. I think I have, I think we're cooking. We have something. So I think we can say test C, test2.c. And what was the man page we were just in? Man, this guy. Okay, so we can include n curses w curses.h, include term.h, and I basically just want to try putting stuff. So we're going to say int term put c, which is going to take in an int car, and we're just going to say if car is equal to 1b, sorry, like this, and we have to put braces here, blah, blah, blah. If this is equal to 0x1b, we're going to say this is the escape sequence, so we're going to put like this, the escape thing. Is put C a valid like C command? I think it is. Yeah. Man put C. And I have to put it to stood out, I guess. Yep. Or put car, I guess. That's what we're looking for. Else put car. Okay. And then we can say int main void. And we can say, I want to like print a escape sequence. So we can say, let's think. Mars, thanks for the prime. So we know that we have this escape sequence that's like 0x1b, so x1b. I guess we just want to see how this like stack parameter thing works. So where do like the parameters even come from? That's what's not clear to me, right? So we say, it's saying that you can call tGetStir to like get a parameter string. So if we say, so we have like tGetStir, right? And we want to call tGetStir on this CM command. And then we want to tPutStir the val. Like, what does that even like mean? Because if it has parameters, we need to like inject the parameters somehow, right? Am I high? Use tputs the output return string. Param. The area parameter. I guess we could look at the less source code and look for the usage of CM. So here we know that they have scmove. We can look for scmove. And what do they do with that guy? tGoTo. It looks like. So they're like goTo line sindex. So they're using tGoTo to inject the parameter, I guess. It looks like. Man tGoTo. tGoTo. So this expands the given capability using the parameters. Perfect. Okay. So int column, int row. Const car cap, int call, int row. Expands the capability using the parameters. Because the capability may have padding characters, the output of tGoTo should be passed to tputs rather than some other output function such as printf. Okay. While tGoTo is assumed to be used for the two-parameter cursor positioning capability, termcap applications also use it for single-parameter capabilities. Doing this shows a quirk in tGoTo. Most hardware terminals use cursor addressing with row first, but the original developers of termcap interface chose to put column first. Normally, the ncurses library is compiled with terminfo support. In this case, tGoTo uses tperm, a more capable formatter. But that is not a termcap feature. Okay. Man tparm. This is probably what I'm looking for. tparm routine instantiates the string stir with the parameters pi. A pointer is returned to the result of stir with the parameters applied. Application developers should keep in mind these quirks of the interface. So how do they know how many parameters I'm injecting? Ti param is a newer form, which uses std arg rather than a fixed parameter list. It's numeric parameters, integers, int rather than logs. Okay, can we look at man ti parm? What's that? tparm. Okay, so how do I know what's valid? Call, reset, shellma, blah, blah, blah. Okay. tparms, actual parameters, maybe integers or strings, blah, blah, blah. Padding information. So I guess it's probably doing the same shit that like printf does, where it's probably like extracting how many parameters there are based off of the parameter numbers in the string. Okay. I think we get it. I think we get it. So we can say tparm. I already well, we don't get it that much because I don't know what to type next. Man tparm. So his arguments are, you know, the escape string. So if I just said like percent %p1 percent %d, that says take the first parameter and then print it as an integer. And I think I should be able to just say 1 here. And const char star to print is equal to this. And printf to print. I know it said not to use printf, but fuck them. I can do what I want, you know? Okay. Let's just see what this does. gcc-o test2. We can say test2 come from test2.c. They don't like something. 2 or more data types. Oh, because char is a reserved word. Sure. Okay. And then makes integer from pointer without a cast. Because this should be like this. Multi-character constant. So is it like this? Oh, it's because it's a fucking string. Right. Puts. There we go. Okay. So what we expected here is we print this parameter, should say 1, and we do see 1 was printed here. Let's say evaluated stir is equal to this. Okay, evaluated stir 1, and if we put 2 in here now, we get evaluated stir 2. Okay, so that makes sense. Now, if I put in like 1 and 2, we get evaluated stir 1. But if I pass in a second param, we should see 1 then 2. Nice. Okay, so now we can start testing this stuff. So we know that push, like this percent %p1 pushes a parameter onto the stack, percent %d pops it, percent %p2 pushes another item onto the stack. And so then if we do it the other way, we say push 2 items on the stack and then print them both, we should get them in reverse order. We should get 2 then 1, if I understand this correctly, which we do. Perfect. Okay. Now, if we say, please use this %i, which the doc said adds 1 to the first and second parameter, we should get, instead of 21, we should get 32. Perfect. We get, okay. And then, what I wanted to see is, what you could do instead of saying add to the first 2 with that %i, you could say push parameter 1, push the number 1, then add, then print. And so I think that should take the 1 and it should add 1 to it and print 2. Hell yeah, baby. And so if I say 3 here, we should print 4. Hell yeah. Okay. So I'm pretty sure we understand this. So, well, you know, what the fuck is going on here? So this is push parameter 1 to the stack, push the number 1 to the stack, the literal number 1, add them, print. And so if we were to say go to row 0, column 1, row 0, column 0, but you need them to be 1 indexed, you could do it like this. So parameter 2 to add 1, add them, print as an integer. And that should go to 1, 1. Okay, cool. I think we get it. And so probably they're just using the %i because it's like a nice little shorthand. Which makes sense. Like %i maybe makes more sense than doing whatever the fuck this is. Okay, so I guess that means that for our purposes, since all of this like parameter parseling is handled by like the term info library, or by like curses, that means that if we in our term info database put in something crazy like that for CM, which was actually maps to cup, we can just do what they said. So add 1 to each thing, then push parameter 1, and then parameter 2, and then go there with H. I'm pretty sure that's right. It's escape, %i, yeah, they're using, oh, did I use %i twice? I shouldn't have. Okay, this adds to both. Now we push parameter 1, push parameter 2, go to that crisp position. All right. So that is done. CM complete. And now, let's look at HO. What is HO? So in tmux, they are just jumping to the beginning of I think they're just jumping to like the root position. That says like go to row 1, column 1, because that is this like cursor position with N and M missing. So saying go to some cursor position, and the default values are both 1. So the default value is top left, and so HO must be like go to like home position is probably what it stands for. Home cursor. And what that just means is like top left. So we go into our guy and we say home somewhere. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. So here. Cup should actually be up here somewhere. And this is open brace E, go to home. I'm starting to get concerned that this is too easy for a full stream. Starting to. But maybe we'll find out that one of these is hard. Or insert line. Okay, this is interesting. I think we support this. I'm not really sure. So AL here. They say, oh, this looks new. We don't have this for sure in ours. We have never implemented the L parser. So I'm glad that just when I said this getting too easy, it actually ends up not being too easy. Oh, this might explain a bug that we've seen, by the way. If they're like saying like, hey, insert a line here, and then I'll put stuff into it. I've kind of seen a bug in Termi where when we type git log, give it a sec. So we'll increase the font size and we'll say git log. Here, okay, look at this like commit down at the bottom. When I'm scrolling, it is not correctly scrolling it right. So if I go here, I go down, down, up, or down, 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 down. Like whatever the fuck is happening there, where like these things are getting melded into one line. It wouldn't be shocking to me if it's because they're trying to insert a line to put the next to the stuff in and it's not getting there. So it would be interesting to see if that's the bug. Okay, so insert line. So they were using the postfix L, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, which isn't in this thing, but it might be in the ECMA 48 spec, which is like a specification for like terminal emulator codes and stuff. And we can look for the letter L, but they format their shit weird. So if you do man, ASCII, and in this table, look for the letter L, which is 4, 10, 11, 12. So it's 4, 12 are like the two nibbles. And so if we look for 04, 12, we find the insert line. Perfect. And so what does this guy do? Insert line is used to prepare the insertion of n lines by putting into the erased state in the presentation component the active line. The line that contains the active presentation position. So where the cursor is. And depending on the setting of line editing mode, the n-1, okay, so we're never in n-1 mode. Whatever this VEM mode, I feel like we haven't seen this ever set. So it's always following lines, where n equals the value of Pn. The previous contents of the active line and adjacent lines are shifted away from the active line. The contents of n lines at the other end of the shifted part are removed. Okay. The line home position is established by the parameter value of setLineHome. The active presentation position is moved to the line home position in the active line, which is set by setLineHome. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. But I think what they're saying is, I think they're saying I have text, 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 text. Maybe my cursor is here. I think they're saying that if I wanted to insert 2 lines here, sorry, let's read this again. So by putting into array state the active line and the following lines where n equals value Pn. Okay. So if I wanted to clear out 2 lines, this stuff would be deleted, I think. But then they say the previous contents of the active line and of adjacent lines are shifted away from the active line. The contents of n lines at the other end are shifted apart or removed. So, sorry, let's do it again. The previous blah, 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 the contents of n lines at the other end of the shifted part are removed. Oh, I see. So they're kind of saying, like, you take this stuff, you take all of this, boom, 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 and you move it up. Is that what they're saying? No, they're saying that you take all of this. Aha, you're saying that you take all this and they move it down. And so if I said I want to insert 2 lines, is that true? Hold on, let's look at this again. The previous contents of the active line and adjacent lines are shifted away. So does it depend on where the cursor is within the line? Like if I say insert 2 lines, is it removing this entire stuff even before the cursor? The previous contents of the active line and adjacent lines are shifted away. Oh yeah, so I think it's saying that it's more like this. They take all of this stuff and shift it down, because they're trying to insert 2 lines. So the cursor stays in the same position, everything else goes to it down. And probably there's some way to test this. So we could do something like cat output.c or something. Okay, so we have like some text on the screen. And if we wanted to say like, please go to, let's say, please go to row, or is it row column or column row? I think it's column row. So like column 5, row 10. And let's just see what happens if we do that. Okay. So that did not what I expected. Oh, because I forgot the open brace. I'll put it in the wrong spot. There we go. Okay. So we went to this position here. So let's go cat output.c. And then let's say we're there. And let's inject some lines for insertion. So that's the insert line command, which is, let's say we want to insert 5 lines. So we want to insert 5 lines. So we say 5, and the thing was an L, I think? Okay. And then I want to maybe jump the cursor back down to the bottom. Is there like a go to end of page command? Can I just go to like 100, 100? Maybe. Yeah, okay, perfect. I guess it's 0, 100, 1, 100. Okay. Oops, fuck. It's the other way. This is 100, 1. Okay. So cat output.c. So we have this thing. And when we say, please go back in time and inject some stuff, we see the interactive has moved down, I think. Yeah, so this like column row here, we moved interactive down to here. It would be interesting to maybe try going to a different row. So row 6. Oopsies. So here, we had if interactive, and then we went to the position right before clear bot, and we pushed down. The clear bot stayed. I see. So they're saying like push everything to the right of the cursor down. Okay, what happens if we move the cursor like farther to the right? Oopsies. Like how many characters is this in? 1, 2. This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Let's do it at like 20 and see what happens. Oops, but we have to cat output.c again to put the cursor in the right state. Okay. Interesting. So that didn't seem to have any effect almost. Okay, so it's maybe kind of acting like... I don't think it's like splitting characters at all. I think that it is only taking the line into account. So here, let's double check what the spec says. It says, the previous contents of the active line and of adjacent lines are shifted away from the active line. I see. Yeah. So they find the cursor position, they find what line it is, they push that line forward no matter where the cursor is in that line, and the characters in that line are shifted down to go with it. That makes sense. So they're basically just injecting new lines. And if things are pushed off the edge of the screen, then they have to get, like, deleted. Okay. Okay, so I think that makes sense. And I don't remember when we started this, but it was sometime before now. Oops. Okay, so that's interesting. So what we want to do here is we want to go into our ANSI parser, and we want to support that command. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. So it's probably like somewhere here. And we can say, what happens when we get the L? Well, it's going to be a single parameter thing. So parse parameter as a usize. We say invalid ill command. If we don't see a single usize as our parameter. If we didn't find any usize, we have to set the default to 1, I think is what ECMA said. Default parameter value 1. So we're chilling there. And we just have to change this from delete to insert line. Boom. And here, we're just going to say insert line like this, and how many lines to insert. So maybe we'll call it insert lines. Insert lines. Okay. Cool. And now we just have to implement that. So whoever uses the output of this parser, he is going to say, hey, I have the number of lines to insert, and I am going to work with my like terminal buffer in some way. So we're probably going to say, hey, I want to insert. I think that this is probably going to be a new command. Let's see what we have on our terminal buffer right now. Clear, insert spaces, insert data, delete forwards, data. Yeah, I think this is a new thing. So we're going to say self terminal buffer insert lines, num lines. And we're going to have some sort of response, which is going to be like an adjustment of some form. It's because we're going to have like some buffer, right? He's going to have like ASDF 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? These are like 3 lines, right? So these are going to kind of be rendered out like this. And if we then insert some lines here, we're like tracking like the coloring data of this stuff externally. So here we're going to say like bytes 0 to 5 are red, 5 to 10 are blue, and 10 to 15 are yellow, right? And so we're going to have to like make sure that if we push in 3 lines here, we're going to have to say that, this is no longer 5, because this is going to be like injected with these \n's. And so this is going to be, instead of 5, it's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? We're going to have to do like 8 to 13 here. And then say that this gets like pushed all the way off the edge. Then we're going to have to say like, okay, blue actually goes to like the end of the world. So this response is going to have all 3 of things that were deleted, things that were inserted, and things that were moved. But I guess things that were moved are like a byproduct of things that are inserted. So we're just going to have like inserted and deleted. Okay. which means somewhere we already have similar structs to this. Insert data. So here we have insert data, and they have written range, insertion range, and here we're gonna have like pub struct terminal buffer insert line response, and he's going to have inserted range. Where did I like put in new characters? And deleted range. And we're gonna have to be careful about like the order of operations here, right? Did we delete first or did we insert first? And so we're gonna have to pick that order, but maybe we'll just say range of written data or of inserted data. And here we're gonna say range of deleted data before insertion. I think that makes more sense because from like a implementation perspective, when we adjust this stuff in the format tracker, deleting first then adjusting might make sense. Maybe we even do it in one shot, but that seems like more complicated. We already have the code to delete, so we'll say like delete the range of response deleted range. I'd reorder the fields. Yeah, I agree. I was going to. You are right. And then I think we already also have like a adjust range, push range adjustment, which is going to be the response inserted range. There. Okay, so I think that's all we have to do, and now we just have to implement like the insert lines thing. Except we forgot an arrow here, so syntax is angry, and then he's gonna say that insert spaces exist, but insert lines doesn't. But that's okay, because we'll just implement insert lines. So this also is going to surely have to take in like the cursor position. Okay. And I guess we just start implementing. So I guess this is probably going to look most like insert spaces. Actually, did insert spaces already do the same thing? I feel like insert spaces has the same problem where data is deleted. No, it doesn't, because it's only deleted within a line. No, I think it doesn't. I think we're fine. Okay, but it is a similar thing here. So we'll use this copy paste, and this is going to be insert lines, and it's going to be terminal buffer insert line response. Okay, and so this is now not num spaces but num lines. And now think about like what the fuck are we doing here? What the fuck are we doing here? So we're going to have to say where the fuck are we relative to the current cursor position. Because our like buffer is stored as like just like a string, right? And the reason that we do that is because when you hold on, hello console, when you have like a long line like this, and you like change the size of the window, this is actually a bad example, but if I like cat output, is there something cat here that's like not shit? CD work, CD termi, or CD less maybe? Yeah, let's do that. When we cat output.c. So you have like stuff in your scroll back, and as you like adjust the window size, this stuff in your scroll back is like moving along to rewrap with the size of the window, which means that like our buffer needs to know where like actual line ends are, not just line ends relative to the screen. So we track all that with just like a linear buffer with new lines. And I don't really remember what I was talking about, but I think that's why we store, yeah, right. That's why we store it as like a linear buffer instead of like a 2D grid, because the 2D grid, you'd lose the new line info, and rewrapping would be like harder. So here we like extract the buffer position in like our string from the 2D cursor position. And then we just have to say, well, this is actually gives me more than the buffer position. This gives me the buffer position as well as the line range, which is like, okay, so this buffer is like associated with some line. Where does that line start and end? Except that that line might not exist in the current buffer yet. So the question is, okay, say we are in this case where you have text like this, ASDF\n, and they're trying to write to the cursor position. Oh, they're trying to put the cursor here, right? And you have other text here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this case, like there's no actual buffer position associated with this cursor position. And that's like a fucking problem. That's a problem for sure. The question is, what do we do in that scenario? Well, what we've done in the past is we've like kind of like padded out this section so that there's like room in this line for that guy. We just like put a bunch of spaces in here. But I think that's not what we want here, because we're going to immediately like remove those those extra spaces anyways. And then like we kind of like lose the concept of like those spaces shouldn't be there. Instead, what we should do is we just ignore the X component here. And that makes this easier. Because then the only like failure case is if we're down here. And if we need to insert lines below the cursor down here, and like there's no buffer position to handle that, it doesn't matter. We can just ignore it. So I think what we're going to do, actually, is we're going to nuke the X position of the cursor pause. And we'll just put a note here. If the cursor X position is not used, if the cursor position was too far to the right, we would not know which buffer. There may be no buffer position associated with it. Zero guarantees that the only none case is, maybe we'll put it in quotes, none case is one that we can ignore. Okay, cool. So we'll say let some buff pause line range is equal to this. And if we don't get anything, then we return a very specially crafted terminal buffer line response, which will just have deletion range. We deleted nothing. And the insertion range is also nothing. Cool. Okay. Then what? Now we have to insert some lines. So what do we do with this information? My guess is that the buffer position doesn't actually matter, right? We don't care about the actual cursor position. We only care about like where the line that it starts on. Oh, but I guess because the cursor pause is 0, they'll just be the same. But it's fine. Line range start is going to be where we're inserting from. Okay. And we are going to have to keep track of how many lines are visible, because we're going to like push them off the edge. So we're actually going to have to do this other way of doing things where we pre-calculate the like line, like where the lines start and end, and where the visible lines start and end. And here we'll just say from visible line ranges, because we need to, this function calculates the line start and end, but we need to like continue on using those concepts here. So we should just use the more specific function here, and he takes in cursor pause and visible line ranges. Okay. And now what are we going to do? So what's the algorithm here? Well, this is going to look very similar to the insert spaces thing, where we have some amount that we are like actually inserting, and some amount that we're overwriting previous data. Maybe not. Let's think. So we're gonna have something like a grid, right? Something like this. This is kind of like the mental model that we have. And if we have data in here, and we're trying to insert lines like here, say we insert one line. So this goes in and this comes out. So I guess there's going to be some, with this, we can delete the stuff at the end by just resizing the buffer. And then we insert stuff in the middle by like actually inserting it. So we can maybe calculate like how many lines we're going to insert. Well, we know there's no calculation there. We have it already. So we can say, well, which row are we in? Is that information that we have? Well, the cursor pos y is which row we're in relative to the visible line ranges, right? So like where we are is visible line ranges, cursor pos y, start. That's where we are. Well, what does this guy say? He says get, and then he gets a candidate position. Oh, because of the X stuff. But we don't actually care about the X stuff. We only care about Y. And so all we really have is this, which means that using this function at all is kind of silly. We should just use, we'll say line range is equal to visible line ranges dot get cursor pos Y. Sure, I'm okay with that. Else. And then we do this. And we'll use this same note here, but we'll just kind of rephrase it a little bit. So we'll say cursor X position is not used. There is no buffer position associated with it. We use Y only. There, okay. Sure. Okay. And so now we have the line range. And we also know, let num, I guess, num lines removed is going to be something like the height of the buffer minus, well, okay, so if the buffer is full, the number of lines removed is just the number of lines, right? Because like, say we're inserting here, we insert 2, so we insert 2, these 2 get pushed off, right? So that's 2 to 2. But there is a case where, say we have kind of like room down here for it to grow. Then in that case, if we insert 2, we delete 2 of these like unused lines, but we didn't actually delete any data, which is like an important distinction. And so we say let available space is equal to the terminal height minus the number of visible lines that there are. I think that's right. And I'm a little concerned that we're missing some like edge case there where it's like off by 1 or something. So can we look at pad buffer for right? I think we do something similar in here. So vertical padding needed is equal to, there is a cursor pos y plus 1 here. Oh, well, that's fine because the y is like indexing into a y. It's like indexing into a length. Yeah. Okay. So that's fine. So I think that this was going to tell us the available space, and we're going to say the number of lines removed is the number of lines that we're trying to insert minus the available space. And since these guys are unsigned, this can overflow. So if num lines is greater than available space, it's this. Else it's 0. There. Okay. So this is the number of lines we're trying to remove. And then we have the number of lines to insert is just num lines. And so now what? So I guess the number of lines removed is we have to calculate the deleted range. So we almost have to like go through visible line ranges dot len minus num lines removed is let removal start index is equal to this. Visible line ranges this thing. If num lines removed is greater than 1, or is greater than 0, then we can do this. Okay. Okay. And we remove at the start. Okay. And so then here, we just say self buff truncate removal start IDX. And I think there's nothing else we really got to do there. And we just have to, well, we need to say the deletion range. So let deletion range is equal to, if we didn't remove anything, we just use 0 to 0. But if we did, we need to say let deletion range is equal to the removal start IDX to the end of the buffer, right? Otherwise, we truncate. Then we say deletion range like this. Okay. Okay. And then we just have to handle insertion. I guess we can just do this. We don't have to do this, like, calculate number of lines removed first. We can just say deletion range like this and 0 dot dot 0 like this. Moved is equal to, so now we just need to calculate the start index slightly differently, which is just cursor num lines removed was the, I lost it. Num lines minus available space. Okay. Okay. Sorry, num lines minus available space. Okay. And now we just have to find our insertion position, which is going to be visible line ranges at cursor pause y dot start. And we just say self buff inserts an element at position index within the vector, shifting all elements to the right. But you want to do like one big insertion. I think there's a way, I remember there being some sort of like iterator magic way to insert many. This splice. Yes. So self buff splice insertion pause with a repeated new line, but num lines times. So this should take number of lines to insert, put the new lines in there. That's fine. Yeah, seems fine. Seems fine. And then we can just make a response, which is going to say the deleted range was the deleted range, and the insertion range is the insertion position to the insertion position plus number of lines. But there's a bug here where if the number of lines is too big, then we're going to have a problem. Because this has to cap out at that's okay, we'll just cap it here. We'll say So num lines we just have to truncate it probably over here. Okay, so we say let num lines but like min with the height minus something. It's going to be capped out. By the cursor position y? Maybe? This could be off by 1, maybe. So let's see. If the height is 10 and we're at position 5, we can insert 5 lines. That's the maximum we can insert. Yeah, that seems fine to me. That seems fine. If height is 10 and y is 5, we can only insert 5 lines. If we inserted more, it would adjust the visible line range, and that would be a problem. That sounds right to me. Maybe. Missing structure field inserted range. Instead, I typed inserted range. Okay. Line range isn't used, surprisingly. That is quite surprising because I didn't use it here. Line range. No field start on option uline. Oh, because this has to be sum here. All right. All right. Might work. Yeah, maybe. I think that I don't see any reason why this won't work. I mean, we should always unit test, so we're just gonna say fix me definitely needs unit tests. But I do want to just try it first, just kind of blaze it and see what happens. Target run. And I already forgot, I think it was L for insert line. So let's just try like a stupid case and say echo-e echo test and then insert a line. Maybe insert like 5 lines. Okay, so that looks promising. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That looks very promising. Okay, I just managed to crash this in some way, but I guess we want to look at like interesting. What the fuck am I managing to do there? Is this a bug related to this or the carriage return? Carriage return seems fine. So it seems like the format tracking stuff. Actually, that seems fine. Clear. Okay, so there was something about typing this 3 times that's causing a crash. What might be interesting is if we do the same thing. Actually, we should keep, this is text size 48. So maybe what we want to do is we want to say, please make this red. And then we'll clear formatting. So we have a red test there. And it does look like the red is being preserved. Something is not right. I don't know where the crash is coming from. Okay, so text size 48, just executing that twice, reproed it. Sick. Okay, so we have our repro. And we have some coloring data, format data that is out of bounds and crashing. So we could maybe try to figure out why the fuck that is. Okay. Which I think we can actually just do by saying Fermi log equals this, and so go to size 48 and run our echo twice. And that's not very helpful. He tells us what is being echoed, but I want more like, maybe we'll look at the GUI code and we'll try to see what type of formatting data is he trying to associate with this thing. So create terminal layout job, blah, blah, blah. We have data and format data. Okay, so you can just maybe like print out data and format data. Okay. And maybe that'll give us a clue. Maybe not, but maybe. You know, who knows? Okay, so we're going to go back to size 48. And we're going to go echo this, echo it again. Okay, and when we crashed, we have data like this. And then formatting data like this. And so maybe we need to look at the length of the data as well. So data len is data len. And let's see it. Okay, so we go back to size 48. Echo, echo. And so data len is 63. And we have stuff at 64, which is a little concerning. So maybe we should go Ooh, hold on. So probably what's happening is the first case, we're doing nothing. No, we must be doing something. We're inserting, yeah, because the cursor position is in view. We're inserting some data. No, don't have a good guess. But what I did want to do is I wanted to log the usage of insert lines. And we can just say, maybe it makes sense here. Print line response. Okay. So what does he say? So when we get out here, what does he claim to do? Maybe we also, here, we can print out the old data length and the new data length. So we can see what the fuck happened during this command, which I guess we should log here. Okay. And maybe we also print line the format tracker results from before and after. Format tracker tags. Format tracker start is going to be some debug thing of self format tracker tags. And then format tracker after delete, after adjustment. Okay. Hopefully that's enough to give us some clues. Maybe, maybe not. So we go back to size 48. And we Echo this, echo twice. Okay. So old data length 64, new data length 62. We were deleting all of the stuff from 57 to 64. And then we inserted some stuff here. Okay, so then we should see that our format checker stuff should, after deletion, just smoke anything in the range of 57 onwards. And so let's see what's happening there. So format checker start, we have some shit that goes from 63 to the end of the world. Okay. And then we're kind of coming all the way back, and we should get like truncated in this 54 to 62 range. This 54 to 62, I guess, just stays as 54 to 62. So after delete, we get from 54 to 67, or 54 to 57, and then 57 to the end of the world. Oh, right, because we deleted to 57. Okay, so 57 to the end of the world, great. And then we push a range adjustment. And that's when it seems to get fucked up, is that the range adjustment inserted 5 characters. For that 57 should go up to 62. And even then, we have 62 to the end of the world. Oh, but this should not be 60. Should it? Yeah, 62 to the end of the world seems totally reasonable. But then, we get something else down here. So then I guess there's some inserting of data going on after that. I'm kind of confused about what's happening here. It must be that we're inserting stuff and that's crashing, because now we have data length of 63, which isn't the 62. So we inserted one character. And after we inserted that character, this format tag of 61 to 64 makes sense, and 64 to the end. No, it doesn't. 64 should never happen. 63 is where we end. But here we have data length of 62, and we have 62 here, so I think that's fine other than this start thing here. We're gonna have to look at like who's the culprit here, I guess. And maybe this is a problem, this 62 to the end, because 62 is the end. So there's like a bug, there's something weird going on there. Let's just also log format tracker. We'll say print line data insertion and format tracker after adjustment and format tracker final or something. I don't know, man. We just need something. So we're back at 48. We echo our thing twice. And so now we're at data insertion. And I didn't fucking log what we're doing. Fuck. So response is this. Okay, and this doesn't implement debug, but that's okay. We can just slap a debug on here. Just so we can see. 48, okay. Echo, echo, crash. Okay. So here they're saying, hey, we put in 2 new characters at position 50 to 52. Okay. Sure. And so that means that everything should, after 50, should be shifted right by 2. So we have this start, after adjustment, So after the adjustment, everything should be moved to the right by 2. So we had the 60 to the end turns into 64 to the end. That makes sense. Okay. Cool. So there's nothing crazy in there, except for that 64 is too long. Right? Am I high? Oh, no, because we delete the new... There's a trailing new line that we delete in the GUI, I'm pretty sure. So here we can say, we'll just check that. Print line, data length is self, terminal, buffer, data. Does this guy have... How do I, like, get his stuff? Data. Yeah. And this comes as terminal data visible. Ugh. Pain in the ass. Pain in the ass. So we can say let data is equal to this. Is equal to this guy. Let me get the data out. Oopsies. What the fuck is going on? There we go. And we could say the total length is the scroll back length plus the visible length. Yes. Okay. Okay. So we go back to our repro case. 48. Boom. We play twice. And so the data length is now, in fact, 64, which means that it having something that goes from 61 to 64, maybe the bug is this, is that we have a format tag that instead of marking to the end of the world happens to line up exactly with the end of the buffer. And probably our GUI code just isn't handling that quite, right? Like having a format tag that starts past the end of the buffer is kind of wrong. But I guess like the format tracker also doesn't know how long the buffer is, and that's like by design, kind of, because I didn't want to like handle that inside here. Okay, so I think we just go to our GUI. I don't think there's actually anything wrong, right? Like I think that our GUI just has to be resilient to format tags that are past the end. And we actually have this. We say if the range start is greater than the length of the data, then we bitch. So what's the problem? This should be catching this. Oh, because if it's equal... Fuck. We should be hitting one of these cases. Oh, fuck, except we truncate. No, I still don't see a problem. So the range start is greater than the data length. True. Invalid format data for text. And then we panic anyways. Oh, because we're only checking the start. I guess we have to do the same thing for the end. And here we will range.end is equal to data len. So if range.end is greater than data len, here we go. This is probably where the crash is coming from. Probably. So I think if I understand this correctly, we were checking if the start of the range was a problem, but not the end of the range, and that was bugging out on us. So if we do the same test now, yeah, we're chilling. We're chilling. Okay, let's delete all of those fucking print lines that we just added. Okay, bye. And this guy shouldn't be there either. Okay. And let's fucking run it again and see. We probably see some of those warnings come out now. And I think that maybe they're just like kind of, okay, fuck, there's more. There we go. There we go. So I think that we should see that warning now. And that's maybe should be demoted. Maybe it's not actually a warning. So here we have echo, 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 echo. Yeah, we just have a lot of invalid format data for text logs now. And I think maybe we'll say debug. Truncating format data length. Ooh, format data end. And here we will say skipping unusable format data. Okay, we'll just leave them as debug for now. Because I think that it's not really... like when I was looking at the data, it didn't feel wrong to me. It just felt like the GUI was trying to use stuff incorrectly. Because it was like, yeah, I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem. Okay. All right, that seems fine to me. That seems fine. Oh, old data length and new data length. There we go. These should be the last prints. Okay. And so I think that's an AL implemented. I think that inserting lines thing, it looks like it's like working correctly to me. I guess we also we should probably go back and double check with like the red. Like maybe we'll do the same test that we're doing here, but we're gonna do like red and then like blue. I think 32 is blue, I'm not really sure. And then we'll reset. Red and green, okay? And yeah, I think that looks like it's tracking correctly. Right? Like the test isn't getting like the stuff isn't moving. You know, if I just like insert lines here, like hey, insert insert one line, please, and then go back to the beginning. Right? It's like it's kind of tracking reasonably. It's gone now, but I think that looked fine. That looked fine to me. So I think I'm happy with that. Happy with that. All right, and now let's get on to the last one. SR. SR. Which is open escape M. Okay, let's look up what... I think we haven't implemented that yet, but I think that we were looking at this one the other day, and it was like another way of doing something else. I think, if I remember correctly, somebody pointed out that in Tmux, it behaves differently than every other terminal emulator. No, SR is open escape M. What does that mean again? Fuck. Okay, man term info. We can look for SR. Oopsies, SR. Scroll back. Oh, that's, here we go. Scroll text down. Scroll text down. Interesting. What the fuck does that do? This doesn't sound familiar at all. I must be misremembering. Because I don't think we've ever looked at this. SR, scroll right. Causes the data in the presentation component to be moved by n character positions if the line orientation is horizontal, or by n line positions if the line orientation is vertical, such that the data appear to move right where n equals the value of Pn. Active presentation position is not affected by this control function. What does it do with data? Like, does it pad the data such that the data appear to move to the right? Okay. Such that the data appear to move to the right. Appears, probably. I think that this... I was like, this doesn't sound like real English to me. Okay. Where n equals value Pn. I think we have to test it, because I don't know what like up and down, left and right mean here. So you can just say echo echo dash e em. That's doing jack shit. Oh, wait. That did something. hold on. Can we then clear forwards? Ah. No, wait, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. No, I don't get it. I feel like I don't understand it. SC add line. But it's allowing AL to work instead. So maybe we can skip implementing that one and less won't bitch. We could try running less right now. And maybe it will stop complaining. No, it still says terminal is not fully functional. Oh, but we didn't update the term info database. So let's do that. I forgot. So we just implemented the AL command, which is IL1, insert line. So ABC, ICH, we have IL and IL1. And this was just, one is going to be a specialization of the other. So we can just do info comp xterm to see what they wrote. Because certainly what we want to write is the same shit. So I'm just going to copy paste this because I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah, we're using the L command, which we just implemented. And this is many lines, one line. We're chilling. Let's try again. Let's try again. Hey, he's not complaining. And now I wanted to see if that fixes the like off-screen problem where when we scroll in some cases. No, this is still bugged for sure. Oh god, what's happening? The text is too big, so it's like almost impossible to even track what's happening. Okay. So this, oh, here we go. There's an example. Okay. Holy shit. Okay, so there's lots, we've done something wrong here. Right? Because when I'm scrolling up, it's just not inserting the new text. What the fuck? Yeah, there's a bug somewhere. We didn't do something right. Interesting. So when I go up, the cursor's like resetting to the top position, which is kind of weird. Interesting. And I don't know if that's like a bug in, like if we don't understand what the thing is supposed to do, if we added a bug to our thing, to like our implementation. It's either, like it could be either. So maybe what we should do is we can run script-i output log. Okay. Oh, sorry. O output log. And then type command git log. Okay. And we could go down, 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 up, 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 up. And hopefully that'll give us some sort of clue. What the fuck is it trying to do? Fuck, it's so hard to parse. So hard to parse. Okay, we need to look a little closer probably at like script git log. And so we go down, 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 and we go up. Down, we're seeing commit fd15 written. Okay. Commit fd15. That's what we're looking for. Commit fd15 here. Okay. 33M open brace K's. These are like clear lines, I think. Here he's saying, oh, hold on. Do we have row and column switched? I wonder if that's it. If our row and column are incorrect. Because this is... all this is doing is he's saying, set to yellow, clear or clear formatting, go to this position, clear... I don't know what this is. Open brace K. Erase in line. Yeah, so he's saying clear the line forwards, then put a colon, then clear the line forwards. I don't know why you would execute a clear line forwards multiple times in a row. Oh, I guess because when I'm pressing up, it's clearing the line to write the colon. This could be row column, and I might be parsing as column row. Let's look at that. We could look at ANSI, set cursor pause. We could look for H, and we're doing X first, Y second, and it might be YX. Could be. Could be. This has to be bigger. Yeah, that looks less stupid. I think that could have been it. So hard to tell. But git log going down seems mostly sane, except for at the end of for like long lines. Yeah, I do think it was we were doing it the wrong way. So now the only problem is this long line issue. That's really the only issue remaining. It doesn't seem like that's part of this like a missing implementation stuff. It looks like more just like a bug. And we could try to look for it. 15 minutes. We might find it in that amount of time. We might. Okay, let's do it. Script -o. Oops, cargo run. And let's make the text bigger. And we'll say script -o output.log. And we'll just look for when that happens. There, right there. So I'll just quit right here. And hex dump output log. And here is where it's happening. So here they say, hey, I wrote commit blah blah blah. I reset formatting and typed a colon, then some clear inline shit. Then before trying to write the rest of it, I did some like what the fuck shit. Okay, so this is what the fuck? 1B. Okay, so the dots are 1Bs. And so this says like 1B open brace K B dot open brace K. Like what are the B's for? This is open brace K B. Oh, 08 is something. What is 08? It's a special character. Backspace. Okay. So they're saying clear the line with a K, then type a B, backspace it, and then a B, and then OD? What the fuck is OD? Carriage return. So you're just typing B's for some reason? Like capital B's? then a capital B backspace, just like immediately deleting it, then a capital B and a carriage return to go back to the beginning of the line, then clear the line. Like, what the fuck is going on? Sure, it doesn't seem like if that's what it's doing, I don't see any reason that it would behave sanely at all. Like, that seems like fucking stupid. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Right, like, of course this is fucking broken, right? He must be trying to get to the next line. He must be. So, somewhere, what are these, like, O dots going on here? So, here is, like, where we entered the colon at the bottom of the screen. Okay, let's run it again. Cargo run. Let's increase the font size and say script dash output log. Okay, down, down, quit. Okay, and hex dump. So it was right here. Commit, bullshit, commit, and so we know that this colon here is related to the last thing. I don't know what these like escapes are for. These are actually writing the letters escape to the screen, then a backspace, 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 then escape, then clear line, then like O backspace, O clear line, B backspace. Like, what the fuck is it doing? B carriage return, clear line. Like, yeah, okay. Something about like doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense unless like these like. Yeah, I'm not understanding something for sure. And so I don't think I'm going to understand this in the next 10 minutes. So I think we'll call it there. I think that we did, we got some like pretty interesting stuff done. That like insert line thing is working now, which is pretty nice. Right? We can say echo this, right? So we can say, hey, write the letters test in red and green. Now, could you please insert 5 lines at the current cursor position? And that pushes the test all the way off, like down 5 lines, which is nice. And less no longer complains when we open it, which is like a big success. Now there's clearly still a bug. There's still many bugs. When I try to resize with less open, it breaks. And when we scroll too much, then it's kind of fucked. But at least he's not yelling at us anymore, right? That stupid, annoying little like warning, terminal is incomplete, is gone. So happy with that. I think we'll probably have to come back at this tomorrow and look at the try to figure out what the fuck is going on with these like weird line adjustment things. I don't know what's happening there, but I think happy with what we got through today. I think the last thing is a secret incantation to summon the Stallman. Yeah, it's just like we're just like A B left right A B star. Like, let's go. Like, just type some shit. Like, I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to figure it out. But happy with what we got done today. So if you liked what you saw, I'm streaming most days around 1 or 2 o'clock Pacific time for around 1 or 2 hours. There's a YouTube link in the Twitch description if you want to go back and see like other projects, or if you miss streams, like all VODs go up there like around same day as they were streamed. If you're watching on YouTube, there should be a Twitch link in the YouTube description, which you can use to get over here if you want to swing by at 1 or 2 o'clock Pacific. There's a Discord link in the Twitch description where announcements of when I'm going to go live go up a little bit ahead of time, as well as like, I don't know, there's like a general chat that you could use. And there's a GitHub link in the Twitch description where code gets put up when it's a little prettied up. I think that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!